Good morning to you. It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy Virginia This Morning on this little Friday, or if you are like us, you'll call it Leopard Print Thursday. I'm Andrea White-Murdaugh, and although it's not Wednesday, the one and only, the all-talented Kristen Lures is here with me today.
You're the sweetest.
We haven't been together in quite some time, so this is very exciting.
Yeah, I love being here, of course. This is the time where we chit-chat before we launch into the meat and potatoes of the show. I love saying meat and potatoes for some reason. And Andres, it's been a while since we've been on the show together. As you were saying, we were trying to recall when the last time was, but for now, anything new and exciting?
Well, I am in the full launch to fall.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, I am ready for it. Now, I'm not a pumpkin spice person, but I am totally ready for like jackets, vests, but I'm holding on to the last bits of summer.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe I'll try to get a pumpkin patch visit in before it gets chilly outside.
I know, I didn't get a chance to ask you about your boys, but I was thinking that you guys would probably visit the pumpkin patch. We do the same thing. We have to have the picture for the fall. It just makes you feel, feel more fall-like, even though outside it's like 80 degrees.
That, and you work so hard for that picture you get.
Yeah, we do. We do. I can remember my kids screaming, "We want to go to the pumpkin patch," while standing in the middle of the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
So, you know, that goes with kids.
Yep.
They have a good time, and the pictures last forever, whether they're happy, sad, one pumpkin, or 10.
Yes. Well, I'm excited about that, and some apple cider and all of those good things. So.
Apple spice donuts or the apple cider donuts. I love all things. I can do the pumpkin spice, the coffee, you know, the beer.
All of it. Oktoberfest, all those things.
Oktoberfest, everything. Yes.
There you go.
Yes,
all right, well, we've got some things on our calendar for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of, we got some things on the calendar today. The Festival of the Grape turns 21 this year, and you can enjoy bands, food, and of course, your favorite Virginia wines all in one place.
Yeah.
Brandon Mitchell and Betty Davis are here with the details. We'll talk with them later on our live show.
And he's the executive chef and kitchen manager at Elwood Thompson. It's always a pleasure to have him in the Virginia This Morning kitchen. Xavier Beverly is going to share a kitchen hack on how to make a sachet or bouquet garni, which is a French technique tying a bundle of herbs and spices in cheesecloth that can be used in stews, braised meats, or soups. I know I just did the French wrong there. Speaking of soup, he's going to show us how to create a smooth and silky roasted pumpkin soup. Perfect for fall. That is still to come. That is also on my list of all things pumpkin.
Well, that is quite interesting. Tom, soup's on the menu. Have you ever tried pumpkin soup?
Love me some pumpkin.
Really?
Pumpkin soup, squash soup, any of that family of soups I enjoy, yes.
Well, you're going to have to come inside and get a taste because it's already starting to smell super delicious in here. Lots of flavor happening.
Very nice. And you know, you ladies are talking about all this autumn, and I'm thinking, you know, about 180 days to spring. That's where my
you're
mind
skipping
is
all
going.
of that?
All of it.
I
Let's
love
just
the
skip
fall. It's what comes after the fall that I think, you know, like you, I could skip it.
Yeah, I hear you.
So you don't want to have anything to do with fall at all. Fall is just guilty by association. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Listen, it's okay. I mean, September's cool. It's all right. I can deal with a little October, but then after that,
Okay, so the rainy months of spring, that's what you're looking forward to?
I just like knowing that spring is springing. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's it. That's all. It's a good feeling, you know. It's. But I don't know. This is okay. This has been fine. It's been kind of cool and cloudy here anyway. We've had a really cool September, so it's been very, I mean, you can't say we went straight from summer to whatever because it's been very autumn-like temperature-wise, so there we go.
It's been lovely.
I gotta stop talking.
You can sleep with the windows open and everything.
Yeah, I'll give you that. You're right.
He's just like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now back to that soup. Now, all right, let's show you what's going on. Listen, I don't mind it. It's okay. It's all right. You know. All right, a lot of clouds out here right now. It's warm. It's 74 degrees. The dew point is 72, so we've got a real muggy day today already. Southeast winds at 6 miles an hour. 70s all around the area. And some rain out to the west. The valley's been kind of drizzly, rainy, showery all morning long. We have just a good thick cloud cover here. We could catch a few showers later, especially tonight, and then again tomorrow as we track this Hurricane Helene, now a Category 2 storm in the latest update. And we now have tornado watch boxes for Central Florida and parts of South Carolina and East Georgia already this morning. Now, there could be something similar for us here tomorrow, or at least close to us, a tornado watch box. So we'll keep an eye on that. And here's the track, not much different from yesterday, kind of heading toward that Big Bendish area of Florida, kind of near the Emerald Coast, Panama City Beach kind of area, as a Category 3 by this evening. And then, of course, still keeping that path of sort of looping around and just kind of becoming a cutoff low. Now, for tomorrow, the better chance for severe weather is going to be North Carolina and coastal South Carolina, or at least parts of it, and we will have a marginal risk here. So that means we could catch a couple of storms or cells that have enough rotation for a quick spin-up tornado or even some damaging wind gusts out of a couple of thunderstorms. Let's follow that moisture out of Florida today. You can see that rotation makes landfall. This is probably 9. It'll probably make landfall a little bit before 9 p.m. tonight, and then that moisture gets pushed northward. And for us, this is tomorrow morning as that moisture kind of wraps into that low, and then that's when we'll have our chance, probably any time from very late morning through the evening. And there'll be some bits and pieces of moisture kind of training northward. And some of that will be some heavier rain cells, and some of it could have some damaging wind gusts. And as I mentioned, maybe an isolated tornado. It's not out of the question with that group there tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye on that here. 81 today, just a 20% chance for a shower, maybe even slightly better late tonight. But tomorrow, I gave you the timing on that. Saturday looks pretty good, just a slight chance for a shower. All right, I hope you have a great day. Virginia This Morning will continue right after this.
Why does that catch me off guard every time?
Every time. There is nothing better than that sound. You know what it means. That means it is Thursday, the last Thursday in September. We like to call it Leopard Print Thursday. And it's a great day to tune into the area's only live local talk and entertainment show. We call it Virginia This Morning. I'm Andrea Swipe-Murdaugh, and Miss Kristen Lewis is here too.
You're the best. I love the introductions already. Well, I really enjoy being here. It's fun to be here on a Leopard Print Thursday. You can learn so much from just one show, whether it's a financial topic, we have listening to some good music, finding out about community events, so much more. This is your go-to source for everything entertainment and beyond. Of course, it's time to get started.
That's right. So good morning to all. If you're channel surfing and stop by to check us out, welcome. If you're a repeat viewer, welcome back. We enjoy spending a part of your morning here with you. Just before the break, we shared a few highlights of some of what's coming up on today's show, and here is a recap.
If you enjoy great food, wine, and fun, you'll want to mark your calendar for the first Saturday in October. The 2024 Powhatan Festival of the Grape is happening. Hello. Brandon Mitchell and Betty Davis are here, and they're going to share the details. That's coming up.
The marker of fall, the Powhatan Festival of the Grape. And executive chef Xavier Beverly is here with us today. He's sharing a kitchen hack that you can use to flavor braised meats, stews, and soups. And then he's going to walk us through the steps on creating a smooth and flavorful seasonal roasted pumpkin soup. That'll be my first time having pumpkin soup, so I'm looking forward to it. And we have got our spoons ready.
I'm excited for that.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be delicious. It sounds like rich, like it's going to be rich.
I think it's going to put me in the fall spirit.
Yeah, that's what it is. And there's more, but you have to stay tuned.
The doctor is in, and you have questions. This September, we're shining a light on atrial fibrillation, or AFib, a condition that affects millions. VCU Poly Heart Center at VCU Medical Center is ranked #1 in Virginia and 42nd nationally by U.S. News and World Report. Our Amy Lacey spoke with Dr. A.J. Pillay from VCU's Health Poly Heart Center.
This segment is sponsored by VCU Health Poly Heart Center.
To help us better understand AFib, its risks, symptoms, and ways to manage it, we're joined by Dr. A.J. Pillay from VCU Health's Poly Heart Center. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Pillay.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's a real pleasure.
Atrial fibrillation, or AFib, is a term that many people have heard, but not everyone understands it. What exactly is it?
Yeah, that's a really important question. Atrial fibrillation, or AFib for short, is the most common heart rhythm disturbance in the world. When someone has AFib, it means that the normally well-timed and regular, efficient heartbeat that we're all born with has become irregular and inefficient. I tell my patients that all of us experience a skipped heartbeat every now and then. That can be a normal reaction to stress, anxiety, or fear. But if you have an irregular, fluttering heartbeat, especially if that occurs for a prolonged period of time, well, that could be more dangerous, and it could be a sign of AFib. Not all of my patients know that they're in AFib. A lot of people have no symptoms whatsoever, but people may experience palpitations, a fluttering heartbeat, shortness of breath, or fatigue. It is really important to recognize those signs and symptoms and to be checked out promptly.
What causes atrial fibrillation?
That's a really complicated question to answer. Identifying the distinct cause of AFib in all of our patients has become a real science, but I can tell you that there are common factors that increase risk. Age is an important one. 1 in 4 adults over the age of 40 are at an increased risk of AFib, and that risk only increases as we get older. Other underlying conditions can contribute to AFib, things like high blood pressure, heart failure, or sleep apnea. All of these conditions can increase stress or strain on the heart and the propensity for atrial fibrillation. It's probably also important to recognize that it's not always about the heart. Other lifestyle factors are important, things like being sedentary, obesity, alcohol intake, stress, or even genetics. All of these play a role.
How do you treat AFib at VCU Health Poly Heart Center?
Well, we're lucky at VCU Health to offer the full spectrum of treatment options for atrial fibrillation, and we do our best to leverage each innovative recent technology to tailor our treatment approach for all of our patients who come to us. Researchers and physicians at Poly Heart Center have been innovators and pioneers in AFib treatment strategies for decades. One example of this is hybrid ablation. In hybrid ablation, we use minimally invasive surgical ablation to target tissue on the outside of the heart, and catheter-based strategies to target tissue on the inside of the heart. By looking at both of these strategies, we're able to achieve increased efficacy in patients who have struggled with medications or other treatment options. We're lucky to have these options and approaches right here at home in the River City, and we work hard every single day to push that needle forward to increase options for those in our community and to set the standard for AFib treatment nationally.
You had mentioned some factors. What are lifestyle changes that people need to make to control their AFib?
It is so important to target healthy lifestyle factors to reduce the risk of atrial fibrillation and other heart conditions. I tell my patients to eat healthy meals, moderate their alcohol intake, abstain from or quit tobacco smoking, and try to maintain a healthy weight. One thing that I tell my patients is to exercise regularly. We try to target about 150 minutes of exercise every single week. I'll tell you, if you're going to start a new exercise regimen, please check in with your doctor. It never hurts. A crucial factor that we also don't talk enough about is managing stress. Stress can trigger atrial fibrillation episodes, so managing our stress levels is really important. Things like yoga, deep breathing, meditation, or just finding some time for yourself. All of these can help.
Dr. Pillay, thank you so much for being with us today.
I appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
For more information, visit vcuhealth.org/poly. Virginia This Morning returns after the break.
Welcome back to our live show. Our friends at Safe Harbor, they're looking forward to their 7th annual Walk to End It that brings together those affected by human trafficking and those who support them while raising awareness and much needed funding. Here to share more is Mary Mopay, the Development Director. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here and for this work that you're doing. We're preparing for the 7th annual walk, which is not just a walk, it is truly funding for a program that is so critical to our community.
Correct. Yep. All funds raised during our walk will support our comprehensive human trafficking program for female adult survivors of sex trafficking.
Tell us a little bit more about that program. You were sharing with me some very enlightening things off air just about what the program looks like and how you serve those who have been affected.
Sure. So we opened the program in 2017. It consists of an emergency shelter and transitional shelter. We work with female adults, survivors of sex trafficking. It's a comprehensive program, so it includes therapeutic counseling, case management, life skills, employment development skills, and then transitional services after they leave the emergency shelter for up to 2 years.
Wow. Really, if you're wrapping your arms around these women in such a major way, and it requires funding. It requires support in order to make it happen. You shared that you're serving upwards of 1,500 women a year.
Yeah, so that's through all of our programs. Through our human trafficking program, we average between 50 and 75. And the program is very expensive because the emergency shelter is staffed 24/7. So for example, our budget's about $2 million, $2.4 million, and it's about $1 million just to run this program because of the intense services that these ladies need to recover from the horrific abuse and trauma that they've experienced while being trafficked.
Yes, and the walk is one of the ways that you go about raising funds. This is the 7th annual Walk to End It.
Yeah, so we're really excited. The walk started as an idea of actually one of the ladies who was in the program. One of the things we do is help them build employment skills. And she came to us and said, hey, I want to do a walk. And so we did. The first year, we raised $12,000. This year, I just found out this morning, super excited, we've raised over $60,000. Wow. Our goal was $55,000. So we are so grateful to all of our sponsors, to the community for coming out and supporting this work. And this walk is really her legacy, which is just a beautiful thing.
And it's a combination of people who are passionate about this cause, people who have benefited from your programs, people who may need assistance, and then volunteers who want to get involved.
Yep, and we have everyone. There'll be sponsors out there. There'll be past and previous clients, survivors out there, just folks who are passionate, volunteers. It's open to everyone. We are dog friendly, we are baby carriage friendly, so come on out and join us. It's just going to be a wonderful event, and the weather seems to be cooperating, so we're very excited about that. So yeah, come on out and just walk side by our survivors and those who have recovered not only from human trafficking but also sexual and domestic violence.
September 28th at 10 a.m. the pier at Libby Mill is where it's kicking off, and you will have not only the walk but many other activities going on.
Yeah, so there'll be activities going on. Registration starts at 9. You can visit the website to register, or we'll have walk-up registration. And there's no fee to participate. But if you raise or donate $100, you will get one of our unique t-shirts. Our clients design a t-shirt each year. And this year the t-shirt features the handprints of our ladies and the paw print of our new therapy dog, Wally, who will be there as well.
Wally, I can only imagine how much joy and comfort Wally brings, as well as the many other women who are coming together to bring this program to life. For those who want to volunteer or be part of the program, where can we find more information?
So our website, which is www.safeharborshelter.com, there is a banner on the homepage. Just click that, and that will take you to our walk page, and you'll find out information about how to start a team, how to register, if you want to donate, all of that.
All of that. There's still time to get involved, to get registered, to support these in our community, and realize that there are far more people in our community who are in need of these services than maybe we even realize. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. The 7th annual Walk to End It, presented by Safe Harbor, is coming up this Saturday, September 28th at 10 a.m. at the pier at Libby Mill. For more information on the walk or the organization, we'll post a link on our show website later today at virginiathismorning.com. All right, Kristen, I'm sending it over to you.
All right, thank you, Andreas. Well, Amy Lacey will be speaking at the 22nd Annual James River Writers Conference. That's happening October 4th through October 6th. For more information, visit jamesriverwriters.org.
This segment is sponsored by St. Francis Manchester Assisted Living.
St. Francis is an assisted living community in the Manchester neighborhood of South Richmond. They have a special online giving day, and you can help. Here to share the details is Bruce Slough, the executive director. Good morning. Thanks for being here today.
Good morning, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your community. What kind of work do you do?
St. Francis is an assisted living community in South Richmond. For 52 years, our mission has been to serve the elderly of limited means. It gives us great joy to care for the people that might not otherwise have the capabilities that we offer.
And you are having an online giving day to help to fund some of those efforts. What is it? How can people get involved?
We need help because of who we serve and how they pay us. And so every year at this time we have what we call Giving Day. It's an online event where people can easily go to the website and say, I'll give you $1, I'll give you $5. So we try to make it easy. We try to make it so that people who've never heard of us but understand what we're trying to do are inspired to help.
What else should people know about this community and the services that you provide to this very special population?
Well, they are special because of who they are. What we try to do more than anything else is make sure that they have a dignified senior life. So we're regulated by the state. There's a ton of regulations, and we can promise safety, security, a great lifestyle, but more than anything else, what we want to make sure is that our residents feel dignified and even loved. So we endeavor with our 50-plus employees to live a life of love for the residents.
Why should the community consider helping and giving their money? Can they even give their time in some cases?
We take time, we have lots of volunteers, but the money is what we're talking about today. Yep. And so, you know, think about when you turn 65. Do you have a plan to provide for the activities of daily living? Things like meals, medications, housekeeping. Most people in this country don't really have a plan and certainly don't have the money to pay for it when the time comes to leave home and let somebody else provide that care. So there's a growing awareness in the community of this group of middle-class Americans that can't afford to retire, and that's why St. Francis is so special. We're ready to take people like that because we're equipped with things like this Giving Day to pay the rent.
And these are people who've already given our community so much.
Right.
Now's time for all of us to give just a bit to them.
Think about the retired school teacher who worked for 40 years, did the right thing, was very modest in the lifestyle, but now the time is for help. And that's why we're asking the community to chip in and help us care for the school teacher, the first responder, somebody that did the right thing, but now needs our help.
Well, we are so glad to give a voice to you today to offer our help. Thank you for coming in today, Bruce. Such an invaluable service that you provide.
Giving Day, stfrancis.com. You can't miss it. Please check us out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Here is that information again, St. Francis Manchester Giving Day. It is October 4th. For more information, you can visit givingday.stfrancisrva.org or stfrancisrva.org. You can also call them at 804-231-1043. You can find them on social media, too. And stay with us. Virginia This Morning returns right after this.
Welcome back. Powhatan's Festival of the Grape is an annual celebration that brings together local wineries, distillers, and brewers for a one-of-a-kind event.
That's right. Today, Betty Davis, membership coordinator with the Powhatan Chamber of Commerce, and Brandon Mitchell, owner of Pure Water Solutions, are here with us with all the details. We have everything to fill you in. We've been talking about it all morning because it's just one of those festivals that brings everyone together. It says about 8,000 of our friends out there near the Powhatan Courthouse down Route 60, Anderson Highway. And it's just not Powhatan friends, it's friends from all over. What can we expect at the festival this year?
You can expect a good time, number
Yes.
one. So that's great. We'll have, we open from 11 to 6. And you'll have music. We're going to have 4 different bands, so you'll have music all day. If you don't like one band, hang around. We'll have something else for you. We have 8 food trucks. We've got 100 arts and craft vendors, and of course we have wineries. We have meads, cider, distilleries, and beer trucks. So we've got it all.
And our favorite Marilyn Merlot will be back.
She will.
As well as our own Bill Bevins, who will serve as the MC as he's done so many years.
Yes, indeed, he will be there.
Yes.
Look forward to it.
And what's the partnership here that we have with Pure Water Solutions?
So we're the main sponsor of the event, the premier sponsor, I should say. We're just proud to be there, proud to be part of it.
And you're looking for a great time too.
Yes,
indeed.
Everyone.
Why is this such a key partnership for Pure Water Solutions?
So we service the community daily. Being a member of the chamber for several years now, it's just important to us to give back to the community and be part of it.
Yes, and speaking of the Chamber, the Powhatan Festival of the Grape actually funds chamber-led initiatives all year long.
All year long, and I will tell you that it is a labor of love. We plan this thing from the time the gates close until it reopens the following year. So my executive director, Nicole Riley, pulls it all together, and she does fantastic.
And this event is rain or shine, so come out, but be prepared. Right. Can you walk us through maybe from the start of the festival? I feel like the most exciting part is when you feel so official when you get the wine glass, all the way to the end, till you said you close the doors. What's it look like from start to finish?
I would wear comfortable shoes. You're going to be navigating a lot of people. Like I said, we have everything that you can ask for, and it's a great time. So just come prepared to have a good time.
Yes, and this is the 21st anniversary.
It is.
I hear it's going to be bigger and better than ever, and you've partnered with so many in the community. What's the strategy for getting all of the best out to one place?
You know, I think the Chamber has done a good job over the years just growing this festival, and you know, we don't really have to solicit. People come to us. We have a long waiting list because it's just a great event.
Yes.
If we could, we'll mention some of the wineries, if you don't mind. I have the bands listed here: Shades of Grey, R.J. Marshall Band, Dukes of Haggard, and East of Hollywood. Now it says 30 alcohol vendors, including the Virginia wine, cider, meads, distilleries, and the beers that will be there. Any that come to mind that folks are definitely excited to see or want to see again?
Well, I will tell you that Hardware Hills, which is our winery, they have won like the best for the last couple of years, so they'll be back. We'll have Bird Cellars coming back, and we've got some new ones. I think it's like Muddy Paws.
Okay.
So yeah, expect some of the good, and then some of the old, and then some of the good of the new, and we'll just have the best of the best.
I love it.
And we call it the Powhatan Festival of the Grape, but you have something for everyone.
Everybody.
And even if you are not the type that partakes, you can have so much more, especially with all of those food trucks and the entertainment.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to dance on the courthouse lawn because we shut the streets down, so you just come and have a good time.
That's right. It is the best of the best in Powhatan. Now, as we think about you, Brandon, what are you most excited about this year?
Just being a part of it, just being there, meeting the community, intertwining with people, and then just, you know, presenting ourselves.
Just being a great partner of such a wonderful festival when you're there. And you can bring the kids to this event too.
Yes, you can. You bring your children. So
Everyone is welcome, and everyone is going to have a great time at the 21st anniversary of the Powhatan Festival of the Grape. Thank you to the Chamber for putting on something that we get excited about all over Richmond, and thank you for being a sponsor, helping us to do amazing things like this right here in Richmond and beyond.
that is
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Come on out and enjoy the Powhatan Festival of the Grape on Saturday, October 5th from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. in the Powhatan Courthouse Historic District. For ticket information and for more information, visit our website, virginiathismorning.com, later today. And our very own Mr. Bill Bevins will be the MC.
Looking forward to that. And X marks the spot in the kitchen.
We are looking forward to learning about Executive Chef Xavier's kitchen hack and pumpkin soup. That's coming up right after the break.
It's time to get a kitchen hack lesson from Executive Chef Xavier Beverly. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
We have a special treat. He's going to use the hack as the building block of adding flavor to his pumpkin soup in a second segment.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Well, I'm glad to be back as usual, and trying to make it smell like fall in here.
It does.
Yeah.
We're
Already.
succeeding.
I'm
The whole
trying my
show
best.
now.
We're succeeding.
So what I'm going to teach you today for our kitchen hack is how to make a sachet d'épices.
Yes,
Sachet
very nice.
d'épices,
The French would be
which
proud.
French for a bag of spices.
Okay.
The difference between that and a bouquet garni is that a sachet d'épices is a sachet, which is basically a bag of spices. The bag part is from cheesecloth, which is a very standard thing that you can get at almost any grocery store, typically. And a bouquet garni is a tie of a bunch of herbs like parsley, bay leaves, thyme, and a little bit of peppercorns. But a sachet d'épices is mainly used for adding flavor to stocks, soups, braised meats, things of that nature. And the importance of it is that when you're putting all these spices in this bag, the cheesecloth acts as a mesh so that the flavoring can get pulled out of it without little bits and pieces of the spice getting muddled into the actual mix.
Okay.
So typically, depending on what you're doing, your spices can vary. Since today I'm making a roasted pumpkin soup, we're doing a lot of fall flavors, things that remind me of fall, things that feel very nice and warm. So we have here some black peppercorns. You add a few of those in the center there for me.
Oh, you're going to be putting this together. Okay,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is going to be
put it together.
lovely. Good
Yeah,
job,
that's plenty.
Andrea.
That's plenty right there. And then we also have some really nice cinnamon sticks. You're going to put like 2 in there.
A whole
That's what I always
stick.
think,
Whole
cinnamon.
stick.
All right.
Why does it just smell so good?
No, it's so perfect.
2 or 3.
Perfect and
okay.
amazing. And then we have 2 bay leaves, and you can put those in there.
2 bay leaves.
And then we also have some coriander seeds as well.
A few of those.
And typically, a lot of people think of coriander as like the ground up coriander, but the seed is a lot more potent, and that's what we want to use.
You can smell it.
Yeah, you can smell all of it. It's very fragrant.
Yeah.
And then what we have here, this awesome looking thing, is star anise. Now, star anise is a really cool flavor. I don't use it a ton, but I like to use it in like a lot of fall recipes, curries, things of that nature. And it has a very sweet aroma to it, but it also has like this tangy licorice feel to it as well. We don't need much of that, so just one right there in the center.
Oh, and it makes such a beautiful little presentation.
Yeah, so if you see it, it's like a nice little beautiful presentation. So with this, depending on what you're making, you can add a multitude of spices and things of that nature, but you don't want to use ground spices in it because it will just leak out of the bag. You want to look for things that are whole, and the perfect place to find these things is at Elwood Thompson's. And our bulk section or in our spice section, you can find a lot of these things here. So now that we have all of our things in the center, you want to fold it up. You're going to fold it over that side and then fold this side up too.
So more of a fold than a...
And then you're going to roll it up a little bit.
Oh,
yeah,
roll
just
it.
like that.
Okay, some of our bay leaves are breaking in there.
Which is fine.
Okay.
So now we have a perfect little bundle. Typically, at this point, you would have kitchen twine, but if you're like me and my kitchen, I have no more kitchen twine. So what you can do is...
improvise.
We're going to improvise. So I have cheesecloth. I have a bunch of it, and cheesecloth, it usually comes in a pack, and it looks like this. And what you want to do is you use some scissors, and you cut a strand off. And then what I typically like to do is just pull it a little bit, just to make sure none of those like frill pieces are still on it. And as you can see, as
You don't want those in the soup.
don't want those in the soup. It straightens out and it basically becomes like a little rope. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and then we're going to tie a part of it around, and then you're going to leave a little edge piece on the end, and then you're going to tie a knot.
So you want to be able to put it in, soak it, and be able to pull it back out. That's why we're leaving some of the string long.
So typically when you're making a sachet this big, this is good for about, like if you're making a soup or a stock, about 2.5 to 3 quarts worth. This will flavor that plenty. And what you want to do after you have it tied off, you have this extra end of the piece. What you do with this piece is you tie it to the handle of the pot itself.
So you don't lose it.
Exactly.
There you go.
But if you don't have that extra piece, you don't feel like tying it up, you just need to make sure that this is like very secure, because the worst thing that could happen is you throw it into the soup, it breaks apart. You have bay leaves and peppercorns and all these things flying everywhere.
Not what we want.
Not what we want at all.
We're pushing it out.
What you want to do at this point, so what I have here is a somewhat of part of the soup that's not finished yet, but
we're going to have you hold for just a second before we get into the hack. You guys are going to have to wait just a moment before we flavor this creation.
Right, please don't go anywhere. We have to take a quick commercial break.
I'm so excited.
Executive Chef X is going to make a savory seasonal roasted pumpkin soup that's still to come here on our live show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Virginia This Morning. Soup's on the menu.
Soup's
Just
on the
in
menu.
case you missed it earlier, Executive Chef Xavier showed us his kitchen hack to flavor braised meat stews and soups.
And now it's time to enjoy his savory roasted pumpkin soup, and we're going to jump right in. Now you've got to give us, for those who may have just been tuning in, we did something pretty special in our kitchen hack.
We did.
And now we've got to see how it's going to.
So with our sachet d'epices, we took that and we tied it off to the end here of the pot handle, and then we put it into the soup. Now I'm gonna get one of you guys to take the spoon and ladle it over a little bit. And typically with that size of sachet, like I said before, we're flavoring like 2.5 to 3 quarts worth of material. This here is about a quart or so. So that'd be a lot of flavor for just that little bit. But for the purpose of demonstration, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Once it's like that, then you're good. But let's start making the pumpkin soup. Let's start doing that.
So you need a pumpkin.
You need a pumpkin, which you can find pumpkin and all this fresh organic produce and items at Elwood Thompson. And what you want to do is you want to take your pumpkin. This is about a 4.5 pound pumpkin. I recommend a 4 pound pumpkin, but if it's a little over, that's fine. And then you want to cut through it. And inside you get your pumpkin. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these seeds.
We're gutting the pumpkin right now.
Gutting the pumpkin.
That's it.
Now you could save these seeds and do something with those if you wanted to.
You read
right?
my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say, dude. So typically what I like to do is I like to save the seeds, garnish them with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then just snack on them, or you can use it as a garnish for this soup. And then what we also want to do is we're going to show the inside of the pumpkin. It looks like this. Now at this point, we're also going to take our garlic head right here, and you don't need to do anything crazy with it. Just cut it right in half. Then you're left with this. You can take some of the outer skin off, but you want to leave that skin because that's flavor too. And what you're going to do is you're going to drop it right in there.
Oh, so we're going to use half of it.
Oh, we're going to use the whole thing. And then you're going to drizzle the inside of your pumpkin, or you can use a squash if you want for this soup, but we're using pumpkin. And you're going to just massage it in there, and then you're going to put it flat side down. And you're going to do the same thing with the other side.
I will admit, I don't think I've ever roasted a whole pumpkin in this way. And so you can find these little ones this season all over the place, or squash, and we're just really roasting them.
Yeah, that's all we're doing. Basically, the roasting process is going to take us about 40 minutes. You're going to want to put it in the oven at 400 degrees. It can go a little bit longer if the pumpkin's bigger, but you don't really need it to go too longer after that. And once you have your garlic head cut in half, you're going to put this in here. So what this is going to do is is roast in the oven, and while it's roasting, all the meat inside the pumpkin is going to get nice and soft and like start breaking apart. You're going to be able to pull it off of the skin with your hand. And the same with the garlic. The garlic's going to get roasted so nice that you're just going to be able to squeeze the garlic out.
Wow.
So now you have your pumpkin like this. We're going to put it in our oven.
On 400, you said?
On 400 degrees. And while that's cooking for about 40 minutes, this soup is so simple and easy. I love it. It's perfect for fall. You're going to take a whole onion. I already took half, and we're going to dice it up.
Okay.
And you're going to do like a nice rough chop. You don't want anything too crazy. Take the skin off. And what I like to do is try to get even cuts as possible. So I cut into little rings there.
So a rough chop. So we don't have to spend a lot of time doing this. This is a quick and easy flavoring that we'll add to the soup.
Exactly. Once you have your onion like this, you want to try and get the onion into like somewhat even pieces so that everything cooks evenly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to throw that into the pot with a little bit of olive oil, which I already have this soup that's pretty much a culmination of the pumpkin, the garlic, and the onion. And what you're going to do is you're going to saute the onion until it's about translucent. After it's sauteed and translucent, your pumpkin should be coming out. You peel all the skin off of that, and you take all the good innards of the meat, and you throw that into the pot. And then what I also have here is vegetable base. It's basically a base of vegetable stock. You're gonna want 4 tablespoons of this to about 32 ounces of water. You're gonna stir that up really well, and that's gonna be your stock for the soup. Then you add that all together, and then you put it in your pot, make your sachet d'epices, tie it to the pot, and then you're gonna have that. And then as it's cooking, you're gonna let it cook down. It's gonna thicken up a little bit, just like this. And that's fine, and you want it to be a little thick. As it's cooking, you're gonna cook it for about 40 minutes or so. About the 30-minute mark, right in front of you, is that organic coconut milk. Show everybody.
Yes.
You're gonna wanna add a can of organic coconut milk.
A whole can?
Whole can of it.
Now, a quick question for you. So we've got our 4-pound pumpkin. How much soup does that make?
That's gonna make about 4 good servings of soup for everybody. You might have a little bit left over, and the beautiful thing about this soup is that it freezes perfectly well. And when you put it in the fridge, it can last for up to 4 days, but you don't typically want to go over that 4-day mark because we have cream in it, and it's just not going to taste as good after that. But if you're left with a little bit extra, it freezes perfectly fine for up to 3 months.
Why coconut milk? Can I use a different type of milk?
You can use a different type of milk. You can use almond milk, you can use oat milk. I like coconut milk just because it's a little sweet already. That's an unsweetened version, but it already has like a little bit of sweetness to it, and I think it complements the pumpkin very, very well. But you can use all different types of milk if you want. You don't even have to throw coconut milk in there. You could add more stock to loosen it up as well. But I prefer coconut milk just because I think it tastes
But that's going to give it that creaminess.
Exactly.
Now, is the coconut milk already in here?
So the coconut milk is already in here, and you can tell that it's light. It's a little bit lightened up, which is perfectly fine. But we want that thick consistency there. And then as it's coming to about the 35-minute mark, you want to check it, see if it's still a little thick. If it's still a little thick, that's fine. Now at that point, we're going to add a tablespoon of our organic apple cider vinegar. And the apple cider vinegar is basically there to add like a little tang to it, just to cut the sweetness of the pumpkin and the coconut milk. So it has like a more balanced flavor. That's pretty much what soup is. It's just balancing layers and layers of flavors, and that's what we're looking to do.
And there's some health benefits to adding apple cider vinegar. You know, a lot of times people are incorporating that into their diet. So this is a nice flavorful way to do that.
It's a flavorful way to do that. It's a healthy meal as well. You don't need a protein at every serving of your meal, but like I like this dish just because it's really warm, it's inviting, the flavors are seasonal, and it's the beginning of fall. Who doesn't like it?
That's exactly right. There are so many different flavors in here. We were talking about some of the most popular spices to use. What do you have that feel like these are the most popular for this particular soup that we use? But
for this particular soup, like the sachet that we did, these are the most popular spices that I would use for it. But you could also kick it up a notch if you have like a spicy feel. You can add a little bit of cayenne pepper. You could add a little bit of cumin. You could even do a curried version of this, and you could add a little bit of curry to it as well to brighten up the flavors. The beautiful thing about soups is that you can take a recipe and make it your own and build upon those flavors. It's really about what you like, but this is like a basic version of this soup. And that's kind of the way I like to cook. Like you take a recipe and then you kind of find your way of making can get your own. Now that this soup is at this point, like I said, we want to get it to a nice creamy texture. So what you're going to do is, I don't have an immersion blender here. I couldn't bring my big fancy immersion blender, but you can use an immersion blender or you can use a regular stand blender, and in batches you're going to ladle the soup into the blender and you're going to blend it down until it's a very, very smooth and creamy texture, which we have here in the middle. And as you're doing that, a trick that I like to do sometimes, just to add a little bit of fat and a little bit more flavoring to it, is take a pat of butter and add a pat of butter to each blend that you're doing, and then you have this creamy, beautiful, buttery, silky texture to it.
Everything is better with butter. And you know what's better? We're not going anywhere. Stay right here with us. Chef Xavier is packing up in just a few moments, right after we do some quality control.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we are ending things in the Virginia This Morning kitchen with Executive Chef Xavier Beverly, his roasted pumpkin soup on today's menu.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Kristen, do you have your spoon?
I'm ready.
Because
all right.
we're ready.
If the camera can get this, you have this nice, beautiful, silky, smooth soup. We're going to pour it into our bowl here, and look at what a difference it is from what we started.
Yes.
Now you have this beautiful blend of soup. And before, my favorite part, garnishing. So we're going to take a little bit of this Graza oil, one of my favorite olive oils, using in my kitchen all the time. Another product you can find at Elwood Thompson's. And just going to nice little swirl around. And then we're going to take some of these little sprouts microgreens, which you can find in our produce section, and we're going to just garnish the top.
Top it off. Still looks so beautiful there at the top.
And then
you can add more. We could do pumpkin seeds.
You can do pumpkin seeds. You can do croutons, and then one of our cinnamon sticks. I have a microplane, and we're just gonna.
Beautiful.
Just a few seconds.
And there you go.
Well, thank you to all of our guests today, including Executive Chef Xavier Beverly, Powhatan Festival of the Grape, VCU Health, St. Francis, Manchester, and Safe Harbor.
Of course, we appreciate you, our viewers, our favorite viewer, your wife.
My wife, happy birthday, Rachel. I love you so much. Thank you for all you do for our family. You are the best. And shout out to my kitchen crew, Malcolm, Jeffrey, Carlos, George, Parker. You guys are the greatest. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
You named them all.